Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the SHU Sports Report. I'm Adam Chambers.
And I'm Chris Cayozzo. Adam, we had an action-packed week in Sacred Heart sports.
Yes, we did, Chris, and what a better way to start things off with a SHU victory over a top 5 school in the nation.
The men's ice hockey team traveled to South Bend, Indiana on Thursday to face off against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame in hopes of toppling the number 5 school in the nation. The Pioneers started off slow as Notre Dame got the lone goal in the first period of play. Sacred Heart would then trade 2 goals with Notre Dame in the second period, going into the second intermission down by 1, 3-2. In the third and final period of play, Sacred Heart would come alive, scoring 4 goals to upset 5th-ranked Notre Dame 6-4 at the Compton Family Ice Arena in Indiana Thursday night. The Pioneers improved to 2-2, but this is Sacred Heart's first win over the Irish and the program's first win over a top 5 team since beating top UMass Lowell 2-1 back in the 2013-2014 season. Sophomore Vito Bavaro had a hat trick to lead the Pioneer offense. Bavaro's hat trick is the first in 2 years since Justin Danforth scored one back in 2016. Junior captain Liam Clare, sophomore Zach Sekos, and freshman Jordan Kaplan scored the other Pioneer goals. The freshman Mark Johnstone led SHU in assists with his first career playmaker. Junior goaltender Brett Magnus had 29 saves for the Pioneers. Bavaro and Johnstone earned Travel Team USA Atlantic Hockey Player of the Week and Rookie of the Week, respectively. The team will open conference play this weekend as they welcome conference rival Niagara to Webster Bank Arena on Friday and Saturday. Friday's game's at 7:05 and Saturday's game is at 2:05.
Beating a top 5 school in the nation must be an amazing feeling.
That it is, Adam. Another great feeling is going into the postseason, and one of our Sacred Heart teams is looking to do exactly that.
Women's soccer is looking to make their way into the postseason for the second consecutive year, and their game on the road against Wagner shines some light on their odds of getting in. The women's soccer team had a very dominant victory over Wagner on Sunday afternoon. Sophomore Caitlin Buckley scored the only goal in the first half to give SHU the 1-0 lead, and in the second half, senior Kim McNally and junior Melanie De Silva each scored a goal to give SHU the 3-0 victory. Junior Nicole Sambuco recorded 4 saves in her 5th shutout of the season. The Pioneers improved to a 7-10 record overall and 4-3 in the conference. The Pioneers need a little bit of help getting into the top 4 seeds of the standings to make their second consecutive trip to the NEC Championship Tournament, and it will start off against their final regular season game as they play Fairleigh Dickinson, who is currently in second place, Friday at 3 p.m.
We hope to see everyone out of Park Avenue Field cheering on the women's soccer team as they face their first hurdle in landing a spot in the NEC tournament.
For more Sacred Heart action, we have Anthony Saccone standing by for this week's Update Corner. Anthony?
Thank you, guys. Let's start off this week's Update Corner with Sacred Heart Equestrian. Hunt Seat had a successful day as they traveled to Connecticut College on Saturday. Overall, the equestrian team tied with Connecticut College for High Point team with 39 points, followed by UConn at 36 and Trinity at 34. Individually, senior Devin Conley took High Point rider, placing first in intermediate flats and open fences. Along with Conley, 11 fellow Pioneers placed in the top 3 in 13 events. The equestrian team is back in the saddle on Saturday the 28th as the Hunt Seat team remains here at home and the Western team travels up to the University of Massachusetts. Next, on to Sacred Heart Field Hockey as the Pioneers hosted a very tough Georgetown team. But with the help of sophomores Colleen McCainley and McKenna Crawford, Sacred Heart held a 2-1 lead until the 60th minute of play when the Hoyas tied it up at 2 apiece. The tie would hold until the end of regulation, forcing a 7-on-7 sudden death overtime period. Almost 7 minutes into the first overtime, Sacred Heart would be called on an unfortunate penalty, and the Hoyas would eventually score the game-winning goal off of a penalty stroke. And this game ended as a final of 3-2. Both goalkeepers recorded a combined 10 saves on the day. Field hockey will be back in action this weekend on Sunday the 22nd as they host MAC-foe LIU Brooklyn at 7 p.m. Women's ice hockey kicked off their regular season play as they hosted St. Anselm this past weekend. The first game of the series and the season home opener for the Pioneers was in fact a nail-biter. St. Anselm would get on the board right out of the gates with a goal in the first minute of the game. From there, it was a defensive battle the rest of the way. SHU was finally able to connect with 13 minutes remaining in the third period off a goal from senior Megan Kabalka. The game was pushed into overtime, but not even 2 minutes into overtime, St. Anselm would score and take the game by a final score of 2-1. Although she allowed 2 goals, senior goalie Devin Kane had 18 saves on the day. Women's ice hockey heads up to Rhode Island to face off against Johnson and Wales for a 2-game series starting Friday the 27th. And lastly, Sacred Heart Swimming and Diving had a quad dual meet on Saturday hosted by Iona in New Rochelle, New York. The Pioneers went 2-1 on the day as they picked up their first NEC victory against St. Francis Brooklyn and beat the hosts Iona Gales. Their loss came to NEC foe Wagner, pushing their overall record to 2-3 and conference record to 1-2. Sophomore Lauren Summers took first in the 50 and 100 freestyle, while freshman Margaret Flaherty lowered the school record in the 1,000. In diving, junior Nicole Pergolotti recorded a new career best on the 1-meter board, and the Pioneers will be back in the water as they host Stony Brook and NEC foe LIU Brooklyn for their home opener at the McCain Natatorium on Saturday the 28th at 12:30. And that is all we have for this week's Update Corner. But for more on Sacred Heart Swimming and Diving, we have Allison Gaskin sitting with head coach John Spadafina. Allison?
Thanks, Anthony. I'm here with Swimming and Diving's head coach, John Spadafina. Coach, thanks for coming down to spend some time with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
And your team is coming off an impressive 9-2 dual meet record from last year. How do you plan to maintain that success in this season?
Well, we've been training pretty hard since early September, and our goal is to continue that all season long. We've had a tri-meet already in the beginning of the month against Central Connecticut and St. Bonaventure. Central Connecticut being the 3-time champion in our conference, and St. Bonaventure in the Athletic 10 conference. So some good competition, and our team swam very well. Although it was 2 losses, but we swam very, very well. And we picked up 2 wins this past weekend against Iona College and in conference St. Francis Brooklyn, and had a loss against Wagner. But we closed our deficit against our score from last year. But we're just going to continue to train hard and continue to improve. We had such a young team last year, and improvement is all what we asked for, and the team set some goals, and we're just going to keep chipping away at our goals.
And I know you have a young team, but you also have a solid senior leadership, some athletes on the team who have been with you since their day one. You've got Anna Brown and Emily Schenk. So how has their experience impacted maybe the leadership style that they're able to now pass on to the underclassmen? They've
been great. Anna's been a finalist in all 4 years in her strokes. She was an A finalist last year. Emily's been a school record holder and has emerged to be one of our top leaders this year. And, it's going to be sad not having them around next year, but they have been great, and it's definitely molded our team. I'm excited to see how they're going to swim at the end of the year, but it's really exciting watching them train now and watching them compete now, because their times in the first couple meets have been better than what they've been in the previous year. So it's been very exciting for them and how they're going to end their career. So hopefully we could have them end their career on a very positive note, because when they started we had 14 girls, and now we have 28, 28 to 27 from last year and then this year. So and they've been the true pioneers of our program.
And as you look at some of the impact that they have had on the underclassmen, one specifically does stand out, Lauren Summers. She has come off to a really hot start so far this year. She was NEC Co-Swimmer of the Week last week, and then this week, NEC Prime Swimmer. So how has her performance really been able to set the tone for the rest of your team to follow suit?
Lauren is a very talented swimmer. She worked very hard over the summer to try and improve on some of the things that she had, some flaws from last year. She came in this year. She's adjusted very well. We've changed some different style of training this year versus last year with the entire team, and she's adjusted very well as well with the entire team, and she's done a phenomenal job, and she's just going to continue to improve. She's only started swimming probably, I think, 6 years ago. So she started very young, and so we're very excited to see her improvements as well in her course over her tenure here at Sacred Heart.
And as you're looking ahead, what are some of the things that Sacred Heart fans can expect to see in your season?
Well, they're going to expect to see, our team up cheering at our team at the end of every swimmer's lane. We're going to have some competitive meets. We're going to be fired up for all our teammates. We're going to have some very impressive times, and our goal is to continue to improve in the conference, continue to improve our dual meet wins. Obviously, our record is going to be a little bit different since we've added a couple more meets. So we had 11 dual meets last year. This year we're going to have 13. Okay. So obviously our record won't be comparable, but our goal is to try to win some more dual meets. But also we've set some more team goals, and we're trying to chip away, and we've reached a couple of them already, and we have another one coming up this weekend.
Well, that'll wrap it up. We're out of time. But thanks so much for giving us some insight into what lies ahead for your swimming and diving program.
Thank you very much for having me.
And we hope to see everyone down at the McCann Natatorium this Saturday for the Pioneers home opener at 12:30 as they take on Stony Brook and NEC Fro LIU Brooklyn. For now, we'll send it back to the desk for more SHU Sports.
Thanks, Allison. Sacred Heart Fall Sports are reaching the final stretches of their regular season schedules. One of those teams is looking to punch their ticket into the NEC Championship Tournament, along with women's soccer.
That's right, Adam. Women's volleyball is in their final stretch of regular season play, and they are in the hunt to place in the top 4 to make their 3rd consecutive appearance in the NEC Championship Tournament. The Sacred Heart women's volleyball team started their 2nd round of Northeast Conference play as they traveled to Fairleigh Dickinson Friday night. The first set was a close battle between the Pios and the Knights as they traded off points until the Pioneers pulled away after tying 20-20. The Pioneers would then take set 1, 25-21, with the help of sophomore Gianna Schiletti. The next 2 sets were all Sacred Heart as the Pioneers took set 2 and set 3, 25-15 and 25-19 respectively. Redshirt junior Michaela Dole led all Pioneers with 15 kills on the night, while redshirt senior Kiki Robinson led an assist with 40 on the evening. The Pioneers end their home schedule as they welcome Robert Morris and St. Francis U this weekend into the Pitt Center Friday and Saturday at 6 and 7 p.m. Adam, women's volleyball still has final 4 games on the road.
They still have time to get some solid wins and punch that ticket into the NEC tournament. Another Sacred Heart team in the hunt for the NEC Championship glory is Sacred Heart football team, as they travel to Robert Morris Saturday in the NEC Conference Battle. Both teams went into Saturday's game looking for their first win in conference play. It was quite the defensive battle as Robert Morris took and held a 6-0 lead in the half off of 2 field goals. Sacred Heart wouldn't get onto the board until a little under 6 minutes in the 4th quarter. The Pios would tack on their first touchdown and take the lead off of a 14-yard rushing touchdown from junior Jordan Meacham. That lead wouldn't be held along by the Pioneers as Robert Morris returned the following kickoff for a 100-yard kick return for a touchdown. Sacred Heart would not falter as they battled back and scored on the ensuing drive off of a 19-yard touchdown pass to senior Byron Barney to tie the game at 14. After a missed field goal by SHU, the Pioneers were faced with Robert Morris' drive with a 43 seconds left in regulation. On Robert Morris's 4th play of the drive, 5th-year Kamal Whitaker intercepted a Colonials pass and took it 46 yards untouched for the game-winning touchdown. And Sacred Heart's first conference win of the season, 21-14. Whitaker earned NEC Defensive Player of the Week of a 2-interception performance against the Colonials, while freshman Joshua Turner earned NEC Rookie of the Week off of his stellar performance of 10 tackles, 2 blocked punts, a sack, and a pass breakup. Turner is the first Pioneer to block 2 kicks in a game since James Rentz did in 2014. The Pioneers will host NEC foe Duquesne at Campus Field on Saturday for a noon kickoff.
We hope to see everyone at all the home games this weekend to support our Pioneers in their hunt for postseason action. If you can't make it out to any of the games, both home women's volleyball games and the home football game will be streamed for free on necfrontrow.com.
That's all we have for this week's show. Be sure to tune in the next week for more Sacred Heart sports, highlights, stats, and more. From all of us here at the SHU Sports Report, I'm Adam Chambers.
And I'm Chris Caiozzo. Thanks for watching.